Session 9 is available now on Blu-ray, and it's a perfect choice for watching this Halloween season. Find out why coming up on the Batcave. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Batcave. I'm your host, Lady Hellbat, and happy October. This is a wonderful time of year for horror fans, obviously. I'm sure we're all stocking up on cool horror housewares at places like Michael's and HomeSense and Dollarama, and even better, there are 31 days of Halloween horror movie lists popping up on the internet everywhere. Now, the Faculty of Horror podcast was approached to do one such list, and so my co-host Alex West did 16 picks and I did another 15, and that list is published on facultyofhorror.com, which I'll link down in the description box below. But I wanted to talk about one of my picks that may have flown under your radar, and that is 2001's Session 9. Directed by Brad Anderson, Session 9 is the story of a team of workers hired to remove asbestos from the Danvers State Hospital, which had closed down 15 years prior. The team consists of Gordon, the head honcho, his buddies Mike, Phil, and Hank, and his nephew Jeff. The team is working away, but things are complicated by a few factors. One, Gordon is hurting for work, and with a wife and baby daughter to feed, he needs this gig, and so he agrees to have the job done in 1 week, and that's really not enough time, so they're working very hard. Two, Hank and Phil have some tension because Phil's girlfriend recently dumped him for Hank, and so he's obviously not very happy about having to work with the guy. And three, Danvers was once a lunatic asylum, and so the place is haunted as fuck. As you can probably imagine, weird things start happening and people start getting killed. Now, Session 9 came out in 2001 and it wasn't received very warmly upon its first release, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One is it came out right around the same time that 9/11 happened, so audiences weren't too excited to see a claustrophobic psychological thriller at the time. Another reason has to do with the crew. This was Brad Anderson's first horror feature. He had directed 2 movies prior to that, and they were both romantic comedies, so he wasn't much of a draw. And neither was the cast, really. You're going to recognize some excellent character actors in this film, most notably David Caruso from CSI Miami, but it's not like we're talking John Carpenter and Kane Hodder here. I think the real reason Session 9 is so often overlooked is because it is so subtle. I didn't mention this in the plot points that I gave earlier, but there's a character named Mike who discovers some audio files from an interview with a former patient by the name of Mary Hobbs, who suffers from dissociative identity disorder, also known as split personality disorder. Mike never shares his findings with the rest of the crew, but the audio tapes play throughout the movie, and Mary's story starts to inform what's happening to the guys at the hospital. Maybe. One of the great things about this film is whether you interpret it as a haunted house story or a bunch of guys cracking under pressure is entirely up to you, and it works either way. Now, one last thing I want to say about Session 9 that I mentioned in my list on the facultyofhorror.com is that for a movie without any female leads, Session 9 is actually a very feminist film in the way it critiques patriarchy. Now, if you know what feminism really is, if you understand feminism's agenda, is it's all about dismantling the patriarchy and the ways in which it hurts men as well as women. Now, here you've got Gordon, who is cracking under the pressure of being the sole provider for his wife and daughter. You've got Phil, who is so shaken up over the loss of his girlfriend, but he can't express his emotions with the guys, and so he turns to drugs. You've got Hank, who, in my opinion, doesn't appear to really even give a fuck about this girlfriend. He just wanted to put one over on Phil. All these things combined with the fact that Mary's split personalities are all these very narrow archetypes parallels nicely with the kind of roles that are ascribed to masculine men that ultimately contribute to their demise. So the Session 9 Blu-ray is available now, and I'd highly recommend that you pick it up if you haven't seen it. And even if you have seen it, there's great special features on here. And if you're a Session 9 fanatic, you want to pick up the July issue of Rue Morgue magazine. Session 9 got the cover story with a brand new interview with Brad Anderson, and this is available on the website, which I will also link to below. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me at the Batcave. If you enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe and like and comment, because I love hearing from you guys, and we'll see you next time.